Hi everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and today we're talking shock transfer moves as a big shock story comes out in relation to Liverpool and who could be leaving them this summer. So before we get into that, I just want to say, hold this thought, get in the comments. I want you to get in your comments, which is your community below, and tell me and everyone who reads your comments who you think are going to be the big shock transfers this summer. Because we're definitely going to get some. We're going to start off with this Liverpool story, but what I will say is Erling Haaland's leaving Man City in the next 2 years. Whether it won't be this summer, but I think it probably will be next year. Big shock transfers are always going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? And we're going to go through some of those. But this is coming in this morning, and it involves Liverpool star Andy Robertson being linked to Bayern Munich, who are monitoring that situation with Alphonso Davies potentially leaving them this summer. Now, when I checked this, I think Andy Robertson's contract runs to 2026, so he's still got a couple of years left on his contract, which is always that time when players start thinking about, am I getting a new one, or am I walking out the door, or are you going to sell me and cash in? Andy Robertson for Liverpool, I mean, look, he doesn't, I don't think, get the credit he probably deserves, because Trent gets a lot of the credit because he gets, I think he gets more assists. Liverpool fans might say, actually, Mark, statistically, Andy Robertson provides more assists per minute than Trent. I doubt that is the case. But look, Trent going forward is excellent, but I think where Trent gets criticised defensively, Andy Robertson's very good defensively, and he's got a very, very good cross on him, and he's a very, very, very good left-back. And you would argue that, is he not the best left-back in Europe, and therefore probably one of the best in the world, certainly over the last few years. So for Liverpool to lose a player like that would be rather surprising. And he doesn't strike me as the sort, I mean, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but he doesn't strike me as the sort of player that would want to leave Liverpool either. So therefore it makes it even more shocking. But there is a big wind of change coming into Anfield this summer, and there will be potential players leaving. Mo Salah is firmly expected to leave this summer. Van Dijk has said we'll have to wait and see what happens in the summer. And with Jurgen Klopp going and a new manager coming in, you look at when Sir Alex Ferguson left and the players that were there, a lot of them over the year or over that summer did go quite quickly afterwards. And I just think that you never know what a player's ambition is. Maybe they want to go to Saudi. Maybe they want to go and play in Europe. Maybe they fancy a different challenge. It will have been a very intense time for Jurgen Klopp, but it will have been a very intense time for these players. Now, if their love and satisfaction and happiness are at Anfield, then they're just going to say, new manager, let's go. But some of them might receive interesting offers. And I think this is interesting as well. You can't discount the fact that some of these players will be expecting to stay and work under a new manager and want to do that. What do Liverpool want to do? And also, rival clubs will see this as an opportunity. They'll be getting in, like clubs are already. They'll be getting into agents and going, do you fancy this? Is he up for it? You know, whatever. And there will be agents of players at Liverpool who will be getting more attention than they might have expected because Jurgen Klopp is going. Do I think Andy Robertson goes? It wouldn't be one I would think, but look, who do you think might leave Liverpool this summer? And who do you think might be going other ways? Because I think that there are some potential shock transfers this summer that I'd be interested to read your comments and come back to this later on in the summer, later on in the year, and see if you got any of them right. For me, I think Osimhen is going to go to PSG. I don't see him coming into the Premier League. I think he's going to PSG. That's one I would throw out there straight away. From a Manchester United point of view, well, that's the only place I could see Marcus Rashford going, and I don't think he's going to go. I don't think PSG will go for him. So for all the noise and unhappiness and body language and whatever else is going on at Manchester United, I don't think Rashford goes anywhere. I think he'll be in a Man United shirt next year. In fact, as a percentage, I'd say I'm probably 80% sure he'll be a Man United player next year. Personally, don't think, as much as they're doing a good job, I don't think Ineos have got the power or desire to move on Marcus Rashford either. I still think that there are certain players at that football club that are still very, very powerful, and I think that they will value that power of Rashford. I don't think they'll want him to go anywhere. As I said, in relation to Manchester City, at some point, you know what? I'm just going to drop this, and I was actually quite excited about doing this video because I just want to drop some names in there, and then if it happens in the summer, I'll look like a right niche hipster transfer guy. Kevin De Bruyne I just think maybe this is the summer that Kevin De Bruyne moves on. Pep always moves players on, or players want to move on. Like Gundogan went, didn't he? Mahrez went. And I just think maybe De Bruyne might be his last season at Man City. Keep an eye on that. It won't be Haaland's last year, but it will be maybe next summer. He will move on, Erling Haaland is not going to be a one-club guy, and Erling Haaland's very much about his legacy, isn't he? Quite rightly. And I don't think he'll stay at Man City any longer than he needs to. So I think he will go probably next summer. Moving to Arsenal, look, I don't see any major departures for Arsenal that are going to be shocking. I think they'll bring a striker in. And I'm intrigued with what Arsenal are going to do, because I can't predict the striker that they're going to bring in. I don't think there's a real definite... I mean, some say Ivan Toney. It could be because they got Declan Rice from West Ham, so they might go for an English striker, but I don't know whether I'd predict on that. Chelsea, look, it could be a new man. I mean, I can't. If you can predict Chelsea, fair play. I mean, they'll probably just look at what Liverpool, Spurs, and everybody else wants to do and go and buy them players. But I think Chelsea are very, very, very difficult to predict. We've already had the big summer signing, which we know is going to be Kylian Mbappe. But it's interesting because I think that Salah will leave Liverpool, as I said, and I think there will be a lot of summer activity. But has football not changed anyway in recent years with regards to recruitment being a little bit more niche following that sort of Brighton cycle, where we might see a number of clubs bringing in players that aren't necessarily massively obvious big names, but there might be a couple of players coming in from the Portuguese league, the French league, maybe even the Bundesliga again, that aren't necessarily household names, but are well scouted. This player's going to be the next big thing, and that's worked well. And as I say, Liverpool did that very, very well with Szoboszlai, McAllister last summer, and I think a lot of clubs might do that. But I do think Liverpool are the club to watch because there is so much upheaval. But I personally would be very surprised if Andy Robertson left. So, yeah, I haven't really given you massive amounts, but I'm interested to say this is one really for you. Get in the comments. What do you think will be one or two shock transfers in the summer? And I'll certainly be reading them. And I'll certainly keeping an eye on them. I don't think Andy Robertson goes to Liverpool. Van Dijk, again, I just think he'll stay at Liverpool. I think he's too important, and I don't see him thinking, oh, let me go and have a couple of years in Barcelona. I mean, look, I might have just predicted he's going to Barcelona, but I don't see that. And he's not going to go to the Saudi League, so I think he will stay. Salah will go. I think Salah will go. Keep an eye on the De Bruyne one, and I really think Victor Osimhen won't come to the Premier League. I just think he's going to PSG, but maybe I've completely misread that. I did think he was going to Saudi, but I think that would be ridiculous. I think maybe he goes to PSG. Get your comments in below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Don't forget, the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast is now up as the full video on the podcast section of That's Football. So if you haven't been listening to the podcast because you don't like listening to things and you want to watch it, it is up on the podcast section of That's Football. A whole hour of a vast array of content and conversation. Check it out. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like, subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.